Hello, my beautiful, beautiful souls. How is everybody doing this today and this week? So this is the weekly intuitive card reading for the week of February 10th through 16th. You guys know the drill. Please like this video. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week. That's what we do here. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I know I've been slacking with the daily card readings, but I promise I'm going to try to get better with that. So you'll be notified when I post those, and then obviously I do weeklies and I do monthlies and then I do yearlies. It's always a good idea to check back with the yearly. Every month is something that I like to do to kind of see how things are resonating with the reading and kind of checking back with that. I think that's always fun. But what else do I have to tell you guys? Oh yeah, comments down below. Please, if there's any feedback, just be kind. That's all I ask. I love when you guys comment how the reading resonates with you. Same 3 decks as the previous reading, as the previous week. Shuffled, of course, different order as well. So, all right, guys, let's just jump right into it. Let's see what kind of week we're going to have. And what do we need? What do we need? Kingdom. Okay. Kingdom Leo. Okay. Lion leadership. So basically this is saying about leading the pack. The fact that it's kingdom, it's saying over something. So we need to take more ownership. We need to take more leadership. If there is an opportunity where you can lead a group or be I don't want to say the king of a group, but kind of be take reign of something, of a group, especially because that's what kingdom is about. But leading an organization, if there's a position that opens up that you're wishy-washy about whether you should take it or not. But this is basically saying you need to get some of that masculine. Maybe masculine's not the right word, but the more of the doing. Yeah, I guess so. Of leading the pack, of actually doing something, right? It's because you can also have feminine leadership, right? Which is more so like being the qualities of being a good leader. But this is actually saying that even though it's not under action needed, and I'm interested to see what comes out through there, this is basically saying like take something over for someone or something and actually lead people somewhere, like actually take people like through almost kind of like we have a guide archetype in our archetype deck, sort of like that a little bit, but being like the lead of the pack kind of situation. So like leading people somewhere, like actually the doing of it. And that's what we need to do. So if an opportunity like this presents itself this week, then definitely jump on it. If you're feeling this, if it's just energetically where you're like, wait, I feel like, I could lead my own group. I could do this thing on my own. I could, even start my own business because, being the CEO of a company is obviously being a leader of some sort. So there's something here where you want to lead people. Again, could be a community or organization, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are getting this need going on where it's like, kind of bugging at you, or some of you could get an opportunity. All right, action needed. We have Avenger. Okay, desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. Okay, it's in the light. Yeah. Okay, so this is more doing energy. Okay, so it's saying we have the desire to make change. We have the desire to make balance. We have a desire to make things fair, and so it kind of goes along here because. Basically, it could be saying like if nobody else is doing it, you need to start it, right? That's kind of like the energy here between these two. It's basically saying like if there's something that bothers you or you feel is unjust or you feel is not that needs to be, it's almost saying like pave your own way, right? It's basically saying if you don't see a path for where you want to go, you need to pave your own way and then people will follow you, right? From that kingdom card, is because kingdom to me is like you're reigning over people, right? Not controlling people, right? And I don't get any of that controlling energy. I know we've been getting some of that, Obviously the reading's not over yet, but it doesn't feel that way here. It feels like we're properly leading people, because the desire is from a more genuine place where we want to make the world a better place. We want to create something out of nothing, and kind of lead the way. Like a lot of passion is coming through here, right? It's pretty strong energy, right? It's a lot of passion. So if you are saying, oh, well, I wish, X, Y, and Z was this way. How come there's not an organization that does that? Or how come there's not a community that does that? Or how come there's not a person that does that? Like, this could even be like creating a new department at work, there's something here about paving your own way and kind of like making the change on your own. So I love that. Very, 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 what's the word I'm looking for? Noble. Yeah, that's the word. A lot of like noble stuff going on here. Like, it's not coming from our own ego, right? Even though we have Lion and we have the Leo, sometimes we can be in our ego with that. I'm not getting that at all. Okay. It's really coming from like a genuine place, a very like noble place, and it's a really positive thing. So we want to create something new. We want to create a new path. I think you guys get it. I think I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but let's see what issues that we're gonna have doing that. Time for a nap. Okay, so we have issue that this doesn't surprise me because, like I said, I got a lot of doing energy kind of coming through here, a lot of masculine energy. So what are we gonna have issues with? Time for a nap means taking a break. Okay, so it looks like a busy week. All right, I'm not gonna lie, guys, but I have to tell you, it doesn't feel like a chaotic busy. Okay, it feels like it's very intentional busy, if that makes sense. Because it's fueling from a place of passion, right? So, but that also just doesn't mean, it's not like busy work. Like, you're not just doing something to do things, but you're still not going to have a lot of time for yourself or for taking a break. So that's going to be an issue. But yeah, it's going to be like you have like a fire inside of you. Yeah. So taking a break, it doesn't look like it's in the cards for you, literally. Okay. Challenge. Creation. All right, so we're also having issues with creation. All right, so we might be, I know we're just talking about like creating a new path. I don't necessarily feel like that's what it means when it comes to creation, because it doesn't feel like, maybe we might have like one snafu, or we might come up to an obstacle trying to get this going here, but this is basically saying that we're having an issue creating something. So we might have a creative block this week. Could have nothing to do with this, actually. This is the reading for the week, not necessarily, what's kind of going on in this block up here. But we might just be having issues with like a creative project, feeling stalled with something, feeling stalled with building something, being innovative with something, because that's also creation. But also, too, you can kind of look at it, again, kind of mirroring this energy over here, is creation is really linked in the feminine energy type realm here. So you might have just issues with more of like your being the creative person that you are, standing still, receiving, all of those things. So I'm kind of stretching a little bit there. It could mean that, but again, it could just mean something actually very literal, where you might have an issue with like a creative project, being creative, doing something, writing, writer's block, things like that. But it feels very minor, and actually these two issues feel pretty minor to me. I always tell you guys if I feel like it's like a very, very strong energy, if it feels a little bit minor. Okay, what's changing? We have upside down, engineer, reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. Okay. Okay, so this is about, oh, interesting. So this is basically saying that we're relying on, okay, we're not, things are changing, obviously. And we're thinking about all the mechanical ways that the things are changing, all the logistical ways that the things are changing, which is very masculine energy, right? It's very masculine. And so it's basically saying like, what are all, so say you're moving, right? And so you have to make sure that the movers are called, that once you get to the house, the refrigerator is stocked. everything is boxed up and labeled and good to go, and et cetera, whatever you have to think of when you have to move. But maybe what you're not thinking of is, how is your kids going to feel in their new house? What are the feelings that you need to process that you're leaving your home of 15 years? Okay, so that's what it's basically saying. It's saying there is change, there, like, life is moving forward, but we're only thinking about the more tangible things, the more practical things, the more of the logical side of things. We're not necessarily looking at the more emotional things. And so just be careful with that. It's not saying it's a bad thing, because you're moving things forward, right? And at this point, obviously, I know we only did the first row up here and we're only about a third done. But basically it's saying things are moving and you're actually moving forward. Like there's forward movement, and that's positive, okay? We're not saying Spirit's not saying it's a bad thing. It's just saying we might not process the emotions that kind of go along with it, but that is okay, at least for now, okay? And for me, I'm an emotions girl, and I'm always about processing, your stuff. But sometimes you just got to get things going and, moving forward, and especially if things have been stagnant for a really long time, and, those things are important, making sure that everything is packed and ready to go, make sure the movers are called and paid, those are really important things, and it's okay to focus on those important things, is what it's saying. But, yeah, I don't think there's any more I can say about that, but awesome that things are moving forward. That's what I have to say about that. All right, what do we need to focus on? By the book. Okay, so this is about structure. Woof, a lot of masculine energy. I put structure in there too. So yeah, this is about doing things by the rules, doing things in a structured way, doing things in a routine way. We've gotten this quite a few times. I don't think this card exactly, but same type energy under focus. So this would be a really great week to have routines, to have structure, to make all of your appointments, to even plan things in a more structured way. So, and I love that there's an 11 on this card, because that's always about, an aligned path to me, or a new aligned path more specifically. So I love that. So yeah, focus on structure this week. What do we need to reflect on? Acclaim. Okay, this one is about praise. This is about being revered. This is about accomplishments, things like that. So yeah, reflect on your accomplishments. Reflect on the praise of maybe this past year, maybe of the past month, maybe of recent, however recent amount of time. The compliments that you receive. Do you receive compliments pretty well? How do you receive compliments? How do they make you feel, et cetera, et cetera? So this is actually asking us to be a little bit more in our feelings, because apparently the rest of the week is not necessarily like that. But if you have a second, which tells me, the issue card up here, the time for a nap, tells me maybe not. But if you do, really good journal questions right there with the acclaim. Responsibilities. We have slave in the shadow, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. Okay, this is what Spirit is saying not to do, okay? Because this came in the shadow, and it's saying it's your responsibility not to do this. So it's basically saying, do not give away your power. Do not do not give away your authority. That authority is a good word for this energy up here, because basically Spirit is saying, no, you have the authority. You are at a place now, or at least you're beginning at a place where you can actually go off on your own, where you can become your own leader, where you can kind of veer off from the rest of the pack, and I don't want to say not being, no, I'm not going to say that because that's not right. I was going to say not being a sheep. Nothing wrong with being a sheep. Like, it's okay. Like, here's the thing. I'm looking at it from a career perspective. Not everybody wants to climb the damn ladder, right? No, but not everybody wants to be in a management position. Not everybody, is A, cut out for that, or B, even wants that, right? And that's okay, all right? And so I don't mean anything by the term sheep when I say that, but it's basically saying, like, being the sheep herder instead. Again, if you want it, use your intuition, obviously, but this is basically saying, like, it's your responsibility to not fall into, sorry if you guys hear ambulances, but I live in New York City, but hopefully you can still hear me. But basically it's saying stop falling into a place where you're being the sheep because you're afraid, okay? again, a lot of people don't necessarily want to be into that management position, don't want to be that leader, etc., etc. That's totally fine. But this is basically saying don't let fear dictate that, okay? And if you can do something better, if you have that passion, because again, that Avenger really elicits like this passion behind something. Don't just like let it, go away because you're fearful, right? And so your responsibilities is not to fall into this pattern of watching other people live your dream, or other people be the leader when you know you're more competent, like things like that. Like, it's about stepping up and being in that being in that, again, leadership position, but also like being that authority. That's the word that I'm looking for, being that authority. So you're gonna start like feeling that, like even just like scrolling social media and you see somebody, maybe you are an actual engineer, right? I know we just talked about the archetype, but maybe you're an actual engineer, and you see somebody like on TikTok talking about engineering stuff. Sorry, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know the lingo. But you're thinking to yourself, you're sitting there and you're saying, oh, I know more about this than that person. I could be more of the thought leader in this area, right? And you start thinking about that. So basically the spirit is saying, like, responsibilities, maybe you need to become more visible. Maybe you need to step up and start talking about it, right? So that's what it's saying here, responsibilities. Don't let the fear of, maybe being visible, maybe of feeling like you're not good enough, maybe, of not being worthy, whatever's actually holding you back, or you're afraid to maybe leave your job to do that, or whatever. Fear of rejection, fear of running out of money, all very valid fears, but it's just saying, just don't let it stop you from moving into more of this authority leadership role that's pulling you, right? Especially because it's fueled by so much passion. All right, I can stop talking about this. I think you guys get it. Okay, money and finances. We have unfinished symphony, money, finances, and career. I put it all in the same category. Unfinished sympathy. Symphony is always about unfinished business. That we are revisiting something, and we're not necessarily quite done with something. Okay, so this can mean so many different things for money, finances, and career. This could be the actual job that we're at. We're not exactly finished with it. We thought we were done, but we're not quite done, like that kind of thing. So, again, it can mean so many different things for money, finances, and career. And I don't think it's not coming up like negatively. It's coming through like, okay, it's just maybe you thought you were done, but you're not done. And maybe and even if this is like, you're looking for a new job and you haven't found a new job and you feel really frustrated, you feel like you're losing patience, this could just be spirit saying, like, you haven't learned everything you need to know at this job yet, right? And that's why we're not, you're not necessarily moving forward. I was just thinking, like, this whole reading is kind of more about like us moving forward, but it doesn't have to, this up here could have, not necessarily be directly related to career, but this is just saying, like, if you're not necessarily moving on, or if you feel like there's still stuff to be done. Okay, let's take the example of, I just used the example up there with the change with moving, right? That could be in money, finances, and career, right? Because obviously buying a house costs money, and it's a financial investment and that kind of thing. So maybe you were supposed to move this week, but it got delayed. Maybe you don't move for like another two weeks or 2 months or whatever it actually is. So basically it's saying, like, maybe there's some unfinished business, like at the home, right? That you have to be in there another couple of months or something. You guys will apply it how you see fit. But again, I would love to know if how it resonates with you guys if you put it down below in the comments. That would be great. Surprise, fragility. Okay, so this is about being fragile, could be extra sensitive. So surprise, surprise, you might be extra sensitive this week. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always extra sensitive, so that wouldn't be a surprise to me, but fragile could be another way to interpret it, meaning like accident prone, which I know it sounds like a little scary, but could be like literally something as small as like a paper cut, in the oddest way possible, if that makes sense. And again, not major energy, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Friends, we have upside down, Midas Miser, hoarding money and emotions, fear of losing your wealth. Okay, something about money and friends. What's that old saying? Money and friends don't mix. Something here about that, where could be anything related to that, meaning like maybe your friend owes you money, and you get in a fight about it. I'm not gonna lie, guys, it comes up negatively here. I've been getting some negative friend stuff lately. I don't love that. But your friend could say that they were gonna pay you back this week, and then they didn't. They have to delay it again. Something here around that. Somebody might call you out on being frugal or cheap or whatever. Might be something along those lines. So, yeah, a lot going on there. I don't love this energy, but you guys know I always tell you the truth. So, all right, romantic connection. We have Treasure Island. Ooh, this is a good one for romantic connection. So this is like a treasure. Aw, love this. Yeah, it's Valentine's Day this week. That's right. So, yay, treasure. Okay, so we're treasuring... looking at our significant other as a treasure. It's such a good week. What a great Valentine's Day surprise here. Well, maybe not a surprise, but let's just say your Valentine's Day, if you're coupled, if you're partnered, is going to, it looks like it's going to go great. Admiration. You look at your partner as a gift, so appreciation, like that kind of thing. There's not too much more I can say here. Although I will add, because it's Treasure Island, maybe some of you guys will be getting some actual... God, it's been so long since I've been in a relationship on Valentine's Day. I'm assuming everybody gives gifts still, but you might be getting actual, like, Spirit keeps like showing me like actual like jewels, so I'm going to interpret that as like treasure, like actual jewelry. You might be getting something like that. Let's just say the material goods are good. Let's just say that. Materially, not just materially, but also obviously emotionally, mentally, all that good stuff. Connection-wise, you're all good here. So what a great Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. What does this mean for our single people? Oh, let me shout them out. This could mean a really good Valentine's date. Like it really is. It's what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's giving. It's giving positivity. Like it's giving like great treasure. So maybe that jewelry is. You go on the first date on Valentine's Day and somebody brings you jewelry. Even though I don't think a lot of people go on first dates on Valentine's Day, but you meet somebody on Valentine's Day. That's a treasure. We're not saying long term, but maybe it could be long term, but maybe not. But somebody that is really you're really grateful to have met them. Basically, something like that. Okay, what's important? Lots of things are important. All right, vows. We keep getting this vows, man. Oh my goodness. Vows is always about commitment, contracts, mean what you say, do what you say. So it's important that you stick to your word for sure, but also make the commitments that you need to make. I think that goes hand in hand with the buy the book card here, where it's basically saying like make all of your appointments, be on time, be structured. There's very little wiggle room this week, as we found out in the first row here, that, you're going to be really moving forward. Again, maybe not with everything because of that unfinished symphony here. But you really are going to be kind of moving forward. And, even if you're moving into a new, I don't want to say a new life because it doesn't feel that major. It feels major, but not necessarily like, like everything is going to be different, if that makes sense. But it's just saying, don't forget like the things that you promised, right? Don't forget the contracts that you signed. Don't forget the things that you promised to other people. So as you change, as things move forward, don't forget like your word, and don't forget your contracts, your vows, that kind of thing. That's what it's saying. So it's important. Okay, health and wellness. We need a good one here. Okay. Dilettante delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to danger, becomes superficial in your pursuits. Okay, this is almost like we've gotten the dilettante before, but I've never actually I don't think I've like used like this term or this type of analogy, but it's almost saying like you don't have to make everything about money, and you're not. Because it's in the light. And so it's saying you're doing things because, not of the goodness of your heart, because you're really passionate about it. So we have more passion here, right? And so basically it's saying like you don't have to monetize everything. That's really kind of what dilettante means. It's almost like an anti-capitalist type stance in a way, not to get like super political, but it kind of means that, where it's kind of like you don't get any, like you just do things for the joy of it without any gains, right? You just do it because you want to do it, right? Because you're passionate about it, because it makes you feel alive, like that kind of thing, because it's delightful, right? Okay, so what does it mean being under health and wellness? Okay, so it can mean a few different things. It could mean that just doing the things that you actually enjoy to do without actually necessarily getting a gain. Okay, so how could this apply? Let me give you an example, because this one is a little tough. So, maybe this is not the best, but it's about me. I have learned so much about this archetype. I have been in this archetype because I haven't been able to do much as I've been recovering from my chronic illness / traumatic brain injury. I can't do much. I'm finding myself doing things just because they're delightful, not because I can make money, not for any other reason except that it brings me joy and I have the time, right? And so it's basically saying like do things for the fun of it again, right? So this could mean so I'm starting to think it might have something a little bit more to do with like your mental health. So for example, maybe you started a business of an art business, right? Your paintings, right? You're selling your paintings. And all of a sudden you feel like you're like a manufacturer. Like you now all of a sudden are painting all these pictures that people are ordering, and you don't even like painting them anymore. But you have to do it because people paid money for it. So now you have to keep producing and producing and producing and producing. And that will do something to your mental health, right? So it's basically saying like, and then all of a sudden one day you wake up and you hate painting, and that's the one thing that you were passionate about. So it's kind of saying like, not letting the passion die, if that makes sense, and doing it just the way that you want to do it, right? For your well-being, right? And so, maybe it's more so your emotional well-being, your mental well-being. So just making sure you don't necessarily have to be in a place where you start to hate the one thing that you truly loved, if that makes sense, and the one thing that you were passionate about. I find it very interesting that passion is coming up again. Again, going up to the beginning here, where we are really being fueled by passion. So what I will say is just be careful, whatever you start up here, right, about being more of a leader in this area, make sure you're doing it from a place of you really, really want to be doing it. Not necessarily how much money you can make off of it, okay? I know a lot of us are hurting financially, and money is great, and I love money as well, but make sure you're not just solely doing it for the money, is basically what it's saying. And I don't think you will be, but just make sure when that, they can be, look, we all want to make the dream, I think everybody would agree, is that you're being paid for the things that bring you purpose and things that you're passionate about. That is the dream. I will not argue with you, and I agree with that. But it can cross a line, and that's what Spirit is saying. So take that as you will. I know that's a lot, and it's kind of like heavy stuff, but I think it'll make more sense if it unfolds in your life. And again, put down below how you're thinking this could apply to you. Yeah. I think I talked enough with that too. Just making sure you guys can get it. Or guys, this is why I like comments, because I'm just reading pretty blindly. Like, I'm pretty much intuitively reading this, and I'm coming up with these examples on the fly. Okay, that's why a lot of them are about me. Okay, because this is how I'm letting you guys how it resonates with me. But where is it going with this? Oh yeah, that's why I like when you guys write down below, because I'm like, I don't know if this makes sense. Okay, I like, all of these random things are being thrown at me, and I'm just making sure that I make sense, and that it makes sense. And it's okay if it doesn't make sense, because sometimes things have to happen for it to make sense. So that's why sometimes when it happens, let me know. Okay, overall outcome. Yin. Okay, interesting. Definitely not during the week. This is definitely after after this week type of energy, okay? Because yin is the feminine energy, and all I've gotten so far is, except for maybe the reflect here, is a lot of moving forward, a lot of getting things done, a lot of authority, a lot of structure, a lot of those different things which fall into the category of masculine energy this week, okay? But again, not chaotic, not like we're doing busy work. I would say the passion definitely is more feminine energy, so it is fueled maybe by feminine energy, but I definitely do feel like by the weekend we'll have some rest, we'll have some downtime, definitely not during the week because of that time for a nap, but getting through the week in a way that is structured, in a way where you know where to step into authority or how you want to step into authority, getting the logistical things done, all of that stuff. All of that stuff is going to take priority over, any of the resting or the being and that kind of thing. Yeah, guys, I like this week. I think it's very interesting. We've got a couple of things kind of going on. I don't see anything that is red flaggish except for the Midas Miser down here in the Friends. So something, money and friends, something weird's going on there. I don't think it's, breaking off friendships or anything like that, but just be careful there. But yeah. Okay, guys, have a wonderful week. I've talked enough. Yeah, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye, guys.